Urgent, Steelers fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Steelers projected to draft 6,000-yard QB as Aaron Rodgers. Rumors swirl Russell Wilson is a giant and Justin Fields is a jet. Where do the Pittsburgh Steelers turn at quarterback for the 2025 season? Future Hall of Famer Aaron Rodgers has been linked to the role after a lengthy meeting with Steelers brass last week. However, there isn't a deal in place at this time, leaving fans wondering how the key situation will turn out. A clear path could be addressing the void in the 2025 NFL Draft, and that's where the Steelers are projected to turn in a new mock draft from ESPN's Matt Miller, who predicts the franchise to take Alabama's Jalen Milroe in the third round at number 83 overall. The challenge is finding a potential franchise passer in a thin class of quarterbacks. Miami's Cam Ward, Colorado's Shedeur Sanders, and Ole Miss Jackson Dart lead the group that features more questions than surefire options. With the expectation that Pittsburgh will eventually sign Aaron Rodgers, Milroe would get at least a season to redshirt and work on his mechanics to maximize his rare physical traits, Miller wrote. While Milroe's ability as a pocket passer likely needs more development, his arm talent combined with his skill set as a ball carrier make him one of the more intriguing quarterbacks in the class. Milroe, 6'2", 217 pounds, set an Alabama record with 20 rushing touchdowns as a senior. He also added 726 rushing yards while completing 64. 3 of his passes for 2,144 yards with 16 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. The Katy, Texas native showed his elite speed at his pro day, clocking a blistering 4.37 unofficial 40-yard dash. A trait like that will be a coveted one for NFL teams who could be willing to take a chance on Milroe. The 2025 NFL Draft will take place from April 24-26 in Green Bay, Wisconsin. Pausing this news just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest the black and gold news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks! Now let's get back to the news. Cowboys trade idea sends $240 million star to Steelers. If the Dallas Cowboys were to shock the NFL world by making Dak Prescott available, there would instantly be multiple teams interested in acquiring the 31-year-old. Prescott is still one of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, and despite some of the criticism he faces from Dallas fans, he'd be an excellent player for many teams around the NFL. One team in particular that could use the veteran is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers are reportedly interested in adding a veteran quarterback this offseason, but with options dwindling on the market, they might not have many places to go. That's where Prescott could come in. Ryan Heckman of Fansided proposed a trade idea for him to land in Pittsburgh, naming them one of 3 fits in a trade and adding that the Steelers would become instant Super Bowl contenders with him on the roster. The other obvious team who would come calling is the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are awaiting a decision by Aaron Rodgers at the moment. Prescott is younger and, quite frankly, the much better option over Rodgers at this point. Dak would make the Steelers a legitimate Super Bowl contender, without question. They have newly acquired DK Metcalf alongside George Pickens and will likely add to their backfield. Plus, you can't get much better than the consistency from Mike Tomlin over the years, Heckman wrote. Is Prescott available? There have been conflicting reports over the past few days on the potential availability of Prescott. Some have suggested that he could be available, while others have stated that there isn't a chance that the Dallas Cowboys would move on from him. These rumors stem from Bruce Drennan, who reported there was a deal in place for Prescott to go to the Cleveland Browns. "Get ready for this one," he said on his show. "I got a pretty darn good source within the Browns organization, a couple. I heard, since our last show, that part of the reason why Myles Garrett was so willing to sign this extension. Yeah, money, money, money. The Browns are negotiating as we speak with the Dallas Cowboys for a trade for Dak Prescott. Should the Cowboys trade him? The chances of the Dallas Cowboys trading Prescott now seem slim. If this conversation were to happen before the 2025 draft, it could be something that's talked about. The 2025 NFL draft class isn't filled with many star quarterbacks. The same could be said for 2026, but at least a few potential franchise guys are in that draft class. Unless the Cowboys could trade up for one of the top two quarterbacks available, which doesn't seem likely unless they want to part ways with multiple picks and players, running it back with Prescott appears to be the best plan, and it isn't a bad one. Remember that when Prescott was on the field, the Cowboys were one of the better teams in the NFL over the past few years. One down year for the Cowboys when Prescott was hurt doesn't change that. However, there are financial reasons to think about getting rid of him, which confuses things a bit. Still, unless something drastic changes, the Cowboys don't have much reason to entertain this thought unless they get an offer that's too good to pass up. Steelers have clear plan at quarterback in place. Omar Khan has an obvious plan in place. This isn't familiar territory for the Pittsburgh Steelers. At least it didn't used to be. Having a future Hall of Fame quarterback under center for the better. Part of 20 years makes you forget what not having a quarterback feels like. Personally speaking, Roethlisberger was the quarterback from when I was in kindergarten until the year after I graduated from college. Fans my age haven't ever had to deal with the purgatory of rooting for a team without a franchise quarterback until very recently. Since Roethlisberger retired, though, the Steelers have had 5 different starting quarterbacks. Mitch Trubisky, 7 starts, 25 Kenny Pickett, 24 starts, 1,410 Mason Rudolph, 4 starts, 31 Justin Fields, 6 starts, 42 Russell Wilson, 12 starts, 66. The list will get longer in 2025, with it looking all but certain that Aaron Rodgers will be the man under center for the Steelers. If for some reason he goes elsewhere or doesn't play at all, Rudolph is the man who will get the nod. But the vision for the Steelers and the quarterback position isn't focused on this coming season, and that is evident by their handling of the position this year. Pittsburgh reportedly isn't offering Rodgers more than a 1-year deal. On top of that, they didn't match the New York Jets' offer for Justin Fields, even though it was widely reported he was their top choice. They weren't in on a trade for Geno Smith, nor did they give Sam Darnold a massive deal, neither of which they should have done, to be fair. What they have done, though, is hoard compensatory picks like Smaug hoarding gold. Currently, Pittsburgh has 4 comp picks in 2026, which is the maximum a team can have in any given draft. They are projected as follows: LT Danmore 3rd round, comp QB Justin Fields, 4th round comp QB Russell Wilson, 5th round comp ERG James Daniels, 6th round comp Wilson's 5th round comp has the potential to become a 3rd if incentives are hit. Regardless, the Steelers will almost certainly use these picks as ammo to trade up in the 2026 NFL Draft to select their next hopeful franchise quarterback. Now, you may be thinking that Pittsburgh won't be able to trade up into prime quarterback territory on comp picks alone, and you'd be correct. I'd expect them to do something similar to what the Buffalo Bills did in 2018 to get Josh Allen. Buffalo sat with the 21st overall pick after a wild card berth in 2017. They moved up to number 12 in a trade with the Arizona Cardinals, trading pick number 21 and number 185, along with offensive tackle Cordy Glenn in exchange for the number 12 pick and the 187th pick. From there, they traded picks 12, 53, and 56 to the Buccaneers to get up to number 7 to take Allen. So if you'll walk with me for a minute, let's say the Steelers hold the 22nd pick next season. No matter who the quarterback is, they'll all but certainly finish with at least 9 wins like they usually do. If it's Rodgers, regardless of how you feel about him, he'd be the best quarterback they've had since Roethlisberger retired and would likely be a playoff team. So the Steelers hold the 22nd pick and a total of 11 selections across all 3 days round 1, pick 22 round 2, pick 43 round 3, pick 84 round 3, comp round 4, pick 123 round 4, comp round 5, pick 163 round 5, comp round 6, pick 194 round 6, comp round 7. Pick 225, they could do something very similar to what the Bills did. For this exercise, we'll see they'll trade number 22, the 3rd round comp pick, and number 123 to move up to number 11. The Bills traded a player in their trade with the Cardinals, which the Steelers could also do. For this, though, they throw in a high day 3 pick in the following draft. From there, they can send a flood of picks to move up into the 57 range, especially targeting teams that won't be in the market for a quarterback. In this case, they'll have more than enough ammunition to move up for their next quarterback. It would cost them at least 12 and 53 in this scenario, as well as at least 1 day 3 pick and likely a 1st round pick in 2027. If that's what it costs, so be it. If you don't have a quarterback, everything else on your roster means nothing. With the 2026 NFL Draft being held in Pittsburgh, what better place to go all in, make multiple leaps ahead of other teams, and land the next face of the franchise? Steelers host potential Aaron Rodgers, Plan B quarterback it appears the Pittsburgh. Steelers aren't putting all their quarterback eggs in one basket, or maybe they are. While the team patiently waits for a decision from Aaron Rodgers, they're reportedly also looking at other options. The Athletic's Mike DeFabo reported on Friday that the Steelers will host a former SEC signal caller in April. Ole Miss QB Jackson Dart has a top 30 visit scheduled with the Pittsburgh Steelers in April. Per league source, DeFabo posted on X, Dart began at Southern Cal before transferring to Ole Miss in 2022. He broke Eli Manning's program's career passing record of 10,119 yards with 10,617 of his own. His collegiate career completion percentage is an impressive 65. 2. The Steelers haven't given up on Rodgers, but even if they sign him, they would do well to have a younger option behind him. While the top 2 QBs taken in the draft are expected to be Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, they most likely won't be there at number 21 when the Steelers select. Dart just might. The Ole Miss product probably wouldn't be ready to walk into the building and be a day one starter anyway. His game could develop behind a veteran like Rodgers or anyone else. And now, Steelers fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot. For the Black and Gold, he'll be back any moment with more Steeler Nation news. Here we go, Steelers! Here we go!